are 6.4 billion people in the world, speaking upwards of 4,000 languages, spread across 238 countries.
And the United Nations tells us in every one of those countries, you'll find people, 2 billion of them in fact, who share a faith in one story, the story of Yeshua ben Yosef, or as we'd say in the West, Jesus, son of Joseph. This is where the story began, in the tiny strip of Roman-conquered land known as Palestine. And it was here, on the shores of Lake Galilee, that Yeshua, or Jesus, would begin to teach a message that would not only win over the Roman Empire, it would capture the heart of a third of the world's population. What this humble Jewish teacher said and did would shape the Western world decisively. It would inspire scientific discoveries, launch political and social movements, bring out the best and worst in people, and of course provide hope and meaning to countless millions throughout history. But how solid are the foundations of the Jesus story? Has faith been faithful in transmitting the message down through the centuries? Join me in the search for reliable historical sources that reveal to us the true Jesus. Join me on a quest for the Christ Files. We all vaguely know the story, or bits of it anyway. Jesus is born...
markedly uninterested in the historical Jesus, or what is often referred to as the historical Jesus, the kind of story of Jesus of Nazareth from birth to ministry to death and resurrection. It's really all, in a sense, the heavenly figure who speaks in the Gnostic Gospels.
This is the final page of the Gospel of Thomas, and the final paragraph basically says that any woman who wants to enter the kingdom of heaven must become a male, which is not terribly good news. And
the offside, all right, they give in, they're not, but the penalty, I think he got the ball.
No, it wasn't a penalty. He got the ball. The first penalty, got the ball. Second penalty, chipped over his own leg. So how can you give that as a penalty?
At the end of the day, we lost 3-0, but we didn't contest for any of the balls out there.
It's horrible. I hate it.
There's no question that the way people see an event is coloured by the team they support. But that doesn't stop them being able to report some basic facts of the event itself. In other words, the bias of witnesses... You died in 37, and that's your spot. OK, Ed, just come to this close cone. OK, Chris, you represent Jesus, the year of his death, AD 30. Ed, you're the earliest writings about Jesus, about AD 50, time gap of 20 years. See if you can do it. Thanks, guys. That was great. Well, 20 years is still a long time, and I guess there is room for a bit of a fumble. Why didn't people write about Jesus?
Quite different. So we think oral communication is unreliable. In the ancient world, they didn't. They thought literary communication was unreliable. Why? Because they weren't printed, they were handwritten. They were copied, there were mistakes made, there were versions edited and so on. So when a school in Athens, for example, the school of Plato met, or his successors, and they wanted to...
And although they restored it to its former glory and beyond, the city served as a constant reminder of the brutal Roman response to Jewish insurrection.
It's against this background that Jesus said things like, "Do good to those who persecute you. Turn the other cheek. Love your enemies." It appears that Jesus completely rejected the military aspirations of many of his contemporaries. The kingdom of God would come, said Jesus, but not by human force.